But that's the one place where I'm not doing so great, is on the straights, because what I'm still doing is instead of full acceleration down the straight and then braking hard before the corner, I'm kind of like moderate acceleration along the straight and then laying off the gas before the corner and then letting the engine braking slow me back down enough to go into the corner and then maybe accelerate a little bit throughout the corner. But so it's kind of funny. Like I'm at the point where I can do most things reasonably well, and the thing that I would say the thing that I'm worst at is braking. And it's kind of funny. You'd think that you would learn how to brake before you would learn how to do extreme lean angles, or get your hand down on multiple different corners. It's like, I got a video where I like touch the ground for a second or two, and I've played around with that a little bit actually. I think you can probably tell my glove. Yeah, my glove here is broken. That's from me doing it. It's like I've taken like long, high-speed corners, like with my hand rubbing against pavement for the entire time, just one-handed. That might be bragging, but I'm just saying that here I am. I'm at the point where I'm taking corners what I would consider fairly well, and I still don't know how to brake. So I just think it's interesting that one of the last things I'm struggling with is just something as simple, what should be as simple as braking. But it's just really scary to brake hard on a racetrack when you're at high speeds, and knowing that if you brake too hard, well, you're just gonna crash. And if you brake not enough and you're carrying a high enough speed, well, then you're gonna go into the wall. Like, it's so yeah, that's it. But I've read that. And actually, I'm kind of concerned about my gloves now. These gloves are fairly new. Okay, no more hands on the ground. Shit. But I've read that before. I've read that braking wins races, and that's what they're talking about. They're like, oh, I remember. It was a motorcycle article. I read a lot of motorcycle magazines. People don't understand that about me. Sometimes I'm saying stuff about motorcycling, and people will be like, yeah, whatever, man, how would you know that? You just make it. I read is the answer. Anyways, there was a motorcycle article that I read where it was a race for like teenagers or kids, and it was like the race is all like 12-year-old kids between the ages of like 8 and 13 or something. It was like preteen motorcycle race, and the guy from the motorcycle magazine entered the race. So he's like 25, and he's like 6'2" and weighs 170 pounds or something, and he's racing against a bunch of like 10-year-olds, and he's on the same bike as them. So obviously he's slower than them because he weighs a lot more, and he's on a small bike, and everyone's on, so they have a huge advantage. But even with that, he said that he was able to keep pace with them by simply having better braking. He didn't have better cornering. He didn't have better acceleration. Obviously, he had a slower top speed. The only thing he could do better than the kids was brake, and by doing that, he placed like second or third. He kept up with the leaders of the race, and he said that the other kids were noticing that he was, because what he would do is like, when they're going down the straight and they're heading towards a sharp corner, all the kids would be braking well in advance of the corner, and he just wouldn't. He would just fly. When they all started to brake for the corner, he hadn't even started to brake, so he'd just fly by everyone for each corner because they would brake too early, and he would just brake really late. And in doing so, he kept up with the leaders of the group. So that's one example of braking winning a race. He didn't win, but you know what I mean. It was his braking ability that beat their. They had higher top speed, better acceleration. They probably had better cornering because they were lighter. So the only thing he could do better was brake, and that was enough to negate all their advantages. And some of you are now thinking to yourselves, okay, well, start giving us some braking tips. And it's like, well, I'm not the right guy to talk to because I suck at it. When I left the house, it was early, but it's not that early now. I had something go up my nose. I hope it's something friendly. What's friendly that could go up my nose? Maybe a My Little Pony? Like a really small one?